It's April 2006 in Medicine Hat, Canada, and everyone in Jasmine Richardson's family was killed except her. But was she grieving, heartbroken, in shock, or involved? That was the question everyone in the 60,000 person community and the nation was asking. Jasmine was born in 1992. Her mom's name was Deborah and her dad's was Mark. She also had an 8-year-old brother named Jacob. Jasmine met her boyfriend, Jeremy Steinke, at a rock concert earlier in 2006 when she was only 11. Jeremy described himself as a werewolf who had lived for 300 years, while Jasmine described herself as a gothic individual. Jasmine always seemed to wear heavy and dark makeup, which did make her look much older. They both belonged to an online community named VampireFreaks.com. This online community was built to unite acclaimed freaks and vampires. Jasmine chose Runaway Devil for her name on the social media platform. She thought she found the love of her life with Jeremy, who was 23 years old when they met. She was pretty young, though, so her perfect definition of love was probably built on the butterfly feeling in her stomach. So, as you can imagine, Jasmine's parents didn't like their daughter having a relationship with a 23-year-old man, 12 years her senior. Jeremy Steinke had grown up with an alcoholic mother whose partners abused him. He was also bullied by his classmates at school. By the age of 13, Steinke was diagnosed with depression and hyperactivity, and later on he tried to hang himself. Over the next 10 years, he adopted this persona of a 300-year-old werewolf and wore a vial of blood around his neck. When Jasmine's parents found out about the relationship, they forbade her from seeing or going out with him. Let's talk about the crime. At 1 p.m. on April 23, 2006, the bodies of Deborah, Mark, and Jacob were discovered. Deborah was found first. She had been killed first and stabbed many times. Mark had fought back with a screwdriver but was also stabbed to death. Both Deborah and Mark were found in the basement. Jacob was found in his bedroom upstairs. He had also been stabbed and his throat slit. 12-year-old Jasmine was missing, and the police immediately thought she may have been kidnapped by the killers, so they sent out an Amber Alert. The police started to suspect Jasmine and Jeremy after a short investigation and finding their emails and online accounts. On April 23, 2006, the night of the murders, Steinke wore a mask and carried a large knife, snuck into the family's basement, and he stabbed Deborah 12 times. Mark tried to save his wife and fought with Steinke. Jeremy ultimately dominated Mark and stabbed him 24 times, including 9 deep wounds to his back. Jasmine joined him and they snuck up to Jacob's room, where he was asleep. Jasmine stabbed her brother 4 times, and Jeremy slit his throat from ear to ear. Jacob was only 8 years old. After murdering her entire family, Jasmine and Jeremy took off with the help of a friend named Casey Lancaster, who drove them away. Investigators discovered Jasmine and Jeremy's public and private online messages and came to the conclusion that Jasmine and Jeremy had murdered Mark, Deborah, and Jacob. In one message, Jasmine wrote about her family, saying, "I have a plan. It begins with me killing them and ends with me living with you." Jeremy replied to her message with one of his own that read, "Well, I love your plan, but we need to get a little more creative with details and stuff." 3 days before the murders, Jeremy wrote about the Richardsons in his online journal. It said, "Their throats I want slit. They will regret the shit they have done, especially when I see to it that they are gone. They shall pay for their insolence. Finally, there shall be silence. Their blood shall be payment." The night before the murders, Jasmine and Jeremy ritualistically watched their favorite movie, Natural Born Killers. Jeremy ended up telling an interrogating detective that he thought Natural Born Killers was the greatest love story of all times. When detectives picked the couple up, they were 80 miles away. The couple had been seen cuddling and laughing before their arrest. In June of 2007, Jasmine Richardson went on trial. She was only 14. She pled not guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder. The trial lasted a month, and in July of 2007, after 3 hours of deliberation, the jury found her guilty on all 3 counts. In November 2007, Jasmine was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. The Act states that any convict who were under the age of 14 at the time they committed the act cannot be charged as adults and can only be given a max sentence of 10 years. Jasmine's sentence included credit for 18 months for time served, with 4 years to be spent in a psychiatric facility, followed by 4.5 years under conditional supervision in the community. In December of 2008, Jeremy Steinke was found guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to 3 concurrent life sentences in prison. He will be eligible for parole after serving 25 years.
The now 16-year-old girl is currently in closed custody at the Alberta Hospital in Edmonton. In order to begin her reintegration, her treatment team and her lawyers say she needs more exposure to the outside world.
We have to appreciate, of course, that she's been in custody for 4 years, and it's a big 4 years, given that she's now 16. And so certainly there have been a number of changes, and as the treatment team indicated, she's not in a normal situation, and so she's a very different person now than she was then.
Crown Prosecutor Ramona Robbins did express some issues with the report that was given to the court by the treatment team, specifically a part that mentioned the girl was having issues understanding the severity of the murders.
We all know she'll be out in the community one day, that's inevitable, and what kind of person is she going to be, what kind of adult is she going to be? So those are the types of questions I have daily, and especially when there's an annual review.
If her treatment team decides to plan any trips off of the Alberta Hospital facility, they will need to submit those plans in detail to the Solicitor General, who will then approve the plans, deny the plans, or make amendments to them to assure that there is no risk to the community.
I have every confidence in the Solicitor General's department. I work with them every day, and so I have every confidence that whatever risk is presented to the public will be very carefully managed, and no changes will occur without them making sure that the whole community is safe.
I think it's going to be beneficial to her in treatment in terms of a gradual reintegration. Instead of doing it in big jumps, it can be a much smoother transition this way.
The girls' team says they are continuing to assess her and stress that any reintegration will be done in baby steps, starting with walks around the facility, going into other buildings in the facility before going out into the Edmonton community. The girl herself did appear in court today via closed-circuit television, and when asked if she had anything to add, only said to the judge, "Thank you for the opportunity." Her next court appearance will be in 6 months. Riley Carlson, Chat News.
In 2011, Jasmine Richardson was released to serve time under conditional supervision in the community. In September 2011, she became a freshman at Mount Royal University in Calgary, Alberta. Her 10-year sentence was officially completed in 2016, and she was fully released from the criminal justice system.